Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in again today. It's really nice to speak to you all. It's lovely to do this at 2 o'clock, and it's such good fun, and I'm really proud of you guys for joining. See loads of people here, people from Blackpool, Bristol, Coventry, all over the place. So it's really good to see you guys, and thanks for tuning in. So today we're going to learn about how to solve exponential equations. At A level, we're going to use an additional technique outside our repertoire, and it's going to be involving taking logs. But today's lesson, we're going to just learn about the basics of solving exponential equations and get us warmed up for maybe doing that one day. As always, guys, I need your brain and attention. As my parents always told me, your brain is your most precious commodity. Look after it, invest in it, and it will pay you dividends in the future. And a pen and paper. Writing stuff down is the key to good mathematics, in particular at A level. So if you're trying to do A level, getting those written methods working are going to be super important. So let's crack on. Just one thing I need to remind you of today. A lot of the lesson today, we're going to be solving linear equations. So we're going to be trying to find out x in the middle of a problem. So just actually, let me pose that to the chat. Can you all tell me what you think x is in this case? Going back to some basics in GCSE. A lot of 8.5s, a lot of stuff like that, a bit of a mix. Someone wrote 17 over 2. I like that. Now, what you do is you add 3 to both sides to deal with that negative 3, and you get yourself that 2x is therefore equal to 17, and you divide both sides by 2 because you've got 2 x's, so you want 1x, and you divide both sides by 2, and you get x is 17 over 2. Absolutely no need to write that as 8.5. Some people wrote 7.5 because there's a mistake when they're trying to half it. It's okay at A level to leave your answer as an improper fraction. That is absolutely fine and allowed. Right, that's going to come up in the middle of solving exponential equations. First question of the day, really quite straightforward. Last question of the day, nasty, nasty bad boy, really difficult. So here we go. First easy question just to warm us up. Effectively, find the value of x if you know that 5 to the power of x is 125. So we're trying to solve for x in this equation. And remember, x here is up at the top, is the exponent. Well, today's lesson, all we're going to do is take this 125 bit and write it as a power of 5. So we know that 125 is 5 times 5 times 5, which, given all our last week's work, simplifies to 5 cubed. So we know that 5 to the power of x is equal to 5 cubed. And this is where the magic happens. Because we've got the same base of 5, the only way 5 to the x could equal 5 to the power of 3 is if x was 3. That's the only way it can happen. So what you can say from this, the final answer is to state that x must be equal to 3, therefore. It's the only way you could get that. And that's because these bases were the same. So all we did here is we took the equation we're given. We tried to write the right-hand side as a power of 5 because we knew that the left-hand side had a power of 5 in it, 5 to the power of x. We simplified the right-hand side to 5 cubed. The only way these two numbers can be the same, given they have the same base, is if the powers are the same. So we could state that x was equal to 3 here. Right, time for your turn. Should be a nice easy warm-up to the day. Find x in this exponential equation here. Love that someone wrote x is 6. Well done, Ashkaran. Well done. Well done, Vanush, writing x is 6. You've got to state your answer in the form x equals. And I remember this one this morning, x is equal to 6. Remember, Ella, don't worry so much about speed, Ella. Really proud, really proud that everyone's contributing. You can watch this back at the end. Some people know a little bit more than others. Some people have done this before in school, so don't worry about yourself. Okay, now we're going to build it up. That was a nice, relatively easy first start. Let's just ramp it up one level. You know what I'm like. Mr Hegarty makes every question a little bit harder than the last. This one's only a little bit harder, not much. Here we go. Find the value of x if you know that 2 to the power of x plus 5 is 128. So our equation is 2 to the power of x plus 5 is equal to 128. Now, our trick from last time was to write the right-hand side as a power of 2 because we've got a power of 2 over here. So we should know that 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 32, times another 2 is 64, times another 2 is 128. So we can write 128 as a power of 2 as 2 to the power of 7. Now remember, all we've done here is replace the 128 with 2 to the power of 7. So we know that 2 to the power of x plus 5 is equal to 2 to the power of 7. Okay? Now, given that we've got the same base on both sides, the only way on earth this could be true is if the x plus 5 was equal to the 7. So we can state that. We can say, therefore, x plus 5 must equal 7. We were asked to find x, so we subtract 5 off both sides, and we find ourselves the final answer that x here must be equal to 2. So it's a bit like the last one, same old trick, only difference is at the end we don't get the straight answer for x. We find that x plus 5 was 7. We have to do some solving equations to find the value of x. Hopefully you feel not too much harder than the last one, just an extra step. I think you're ready. Let's give it a go. Over to you, people. Shout out to Emily Grace for the lovely tweet. Oh, EPOS, the variable x equates to is 3. Very nice English there. I like your style. So let's see what I got here. I also got x is 3. So many of you are getting x is 3, or the variable that x is equal to is 3. Very good. We've made a good start today, all right? So in A-level, there's going to be ways of solving more complicated ones of these using logs and all sorts. But today, let's just start here and see where we get to. What a good start. What a good start. Okay, I'm going to ramp this up. Here we go. Next one. Find x, or find the value of x, if you know 2 to the power of 6x is 32. Oh, I don't like writing with a red pen. I'll write like this. 2 to the power of 6x is equal to 32. So we can write 32 as a power of 2. Hopefully you know by now that's 2 to the power of 5, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 32. So we've got ourselves that 2 to the power of 6x is equal to 5. Now the only way on earth this can be true is if 6x equals 5. So we can write that. Therefore 6x must equal 5. Dividing both sides by 6, we get ourselves the final answer, x is equal to 5, 6. And happy days, hey presto, we're there. Remember, don't decimalize this, guys. Whatever your temptation is, I'm trying to Google it. Now, 5, 6, don't write that as a decimal or try and round it. 5, 6 is fine. Happy days. At A-level, you leave your answers generally as fractions because you will need to use them later in the question and have exact methods. Big shout out also, I'm getting some tweets. I don't know the names, but there's some lovely tweets coming in through live as well. Really proud to help you guys. Thanks for the shout out. Over to you. Here we go. Time for you guys. Find x in this bad boy. Go. Admit the variable x is 2/3. He does like to really eloquently state his answer. And we're getting loads of x is equal to 2/3. Don't remember my answer from this morning. Can't remember if that was it. Yes, it was. X is 2/3. What a start to today. Really, really nice start, everyone. Really happy with this. As always, I'm going to take it up a notch. Don't think we're quite into bad boy territory. Next question. Last question of the day. Honestly, we're in definite bad boy territory. Just hold with me, right? Next one's a bit harder. Shouldn't be too bad. Here we go. Find the value of x if 16 is equal to 2 to the power of 3x take away 2. Right? So we've got 16 is equal to 2 to the power of 3x take away 2. Joe, I just like writing the x's on the left. So if you don't mind, forgive me. I like writing it like this. It helps me in my life. I think I solve left to right. So I'm just going to rewrite those in the other order. Remember our little trick. Write 16 as a power of 2. So that's 2 to the power of 4. Hopefully you guys realize. So 2 to the power of 3x take away 2 is equal to 4. Because we've got the same base of 2, the exponents must be equal. So we can state that 3x take away 2 must equal 4. We are on the road to getting home, and we should be able to get this from here. Add 2 to both sides to remove that negative 2. And we've got that 3x is equal to 6. And divide both sides by 3. And we find ourselves in a happy land where x is equal to 2. What I should have said earlier, actually, I made a little bit of a boo-boo, so apologies. Always check in back in your answer. Stick 2 back in here in the top. 2 to the power of 3 times 2 take away 2. 3 2s is 6. 6 take away 2 is 4. So this is 2 to the power of 4. Is that 16? You're damn right it is 16. You know you've got it. Absolutely should have said that earlier. Boo-boo from Hegarty. Actually, that was hard to substitute back in. But always think about substituting back in just to help you out. Just to make sure you know you're right and haven't made a boo-boo. The best of us make a boo-boo mistake, slip up. It's life. Checking at the end helps remove those boo-boos. Right, next one. There's boo-boos and bad boys. Boo-boo makes a mistake. Bad boys a question that makes us make boo-boos, right? So boo-boos and bad boys are related. Here we go. Over to you. Next one. Mia, Ethan, Asmol. Lovely to see all these names here again. Anurag, Owen, Luke, Joshua. Can use logs, Joshua. We're going to maybe come to that. The longer schools stay out. Harry, Branwen, Dian, Musha. Well done. Loads of x is equal to 3s. Let me remind myself what I got this morning. I thankfully also got x is equal to 3. Okay. Next one is actually an exam question, right? Next one was an exam question we found. It's not that bad. Here we go. Find the value of x if 3 is equal to 27 to the power of x. Right, so 3 is equal to 27 to the power of x. Now, in my head, what's going on here? I'm going, oh God, this base and this base aren't the same. You can't deal with it if they're the same base, if they're not the same base. So let's make the bases the same. A good one is 3. Because you can change 27 into having a base of 3. You can write 27 as 3 cubed. Hopefully you guys can spot that we know from all our previous work the last few weeks that 27 and 3 cubed are equivalent. But whatever you do, don't forget that x there. That x needs to go here as well. Tidying this bad boy up, 3 to the power of 3 to the power of x, that's just 3 to the power of 3 times x, or 3x. Now, on the left-hand side, you had 3. Remember 3? Remember from our earliest rules, 3 is the same as 3 to the power of 1. There's a hidden 1. These ones get hidden in algebra and maths and often cause us problems. Now, we've got 3 to the power of 1 is equal to 3 to the power of 3x. The base 3 is the same. Therefore, if these two things are equal, the exponents must be the same. So 1 must be equal to 3x. Or I like writing the x on the left. 3x must be equal to 1. Divide both sides by 3. And you get yourself x, therefore, is equal to a third. Now, that was actually, there's an easier way of doing it. You could have spotted this. If you substitute a third back in here, 27 to the third, hopefully you guys remember, means the cube root of 27, which is 3. So this is definitely right. Okay, here we go. Next one for you guys. Keep your wits about you. Follow the method. Can you do an exam question? Came up in AS, only a couple of marks, so not a big deal, but still worth noting, was AS standard. Off you go. Loads of great answers in here. Jack, Luke, Imram, Emily, Hannah, Jane, Libby. Calobex is 0.25. We're getting some wordy answers as well. So let me see what I got this morning. I also did get x was equal to a quarter. So we've done a good job there. Okay, a few more questions today, all exam standard here. So today wasn't for the faint-hearted. Today did get to those exam standard questions fast. Here's our first one. Our next one even. This is our second exam standard question. Find the value of x if 1 over 125 is equal to 5 to the power of x. Right, so I just like writing it the other way around with the x on the left. So I'm just going to start by saying 5 to the power of x is equal to 1 over 125. Remember the trick for these bad boys. Just try and make everything have the same base number. Because we've got 5 there, let's try and write that as a power of 5. So I'm going to say that's 1 over 5 times 5 times 5, which is 5 cubed. And how do we write 1 over 5 cubed? That's just simply 5 to the negative 3. Remember, 1 over 5 to the power of n, that's the same thing as 5 to the negative n. Now we're in a really good place because we've got 5 to the power of x is equal to 5 to the power of negative 3. Our base number is 5 in both cases. Happy days. Therefore, the exponents must be equal. And just straight away, without any mucking about, we can state that x is equal to 3. Oh, negative 3 even. X is equal to negative 3. Some people said, can you do it by inspection? So you could do this by inspection because some people are saying, well, sir, I know I could just guess negative 3 and I know that's 1 over 5 cubed, which is 1 over 125. Absolutely. You can do this, but really you've got to show you're working in A-level. It's really good to have a method, and the ones I'm going to show at the end aren't guessable. So they're not guessable, so you need a method, and these are our build-ups to those methods. Lovely question, though. If you don't show working, you lose marks in the A-level. Right, so you can know the answer by inspection and it gives you comfort, but don't just write that on the page. You will not get full marks. Mr. Arnold is shouting that out in the chat room. Listen, guys, listen. Do listen to Mr. Arnold. He knows what he's talking about. And as Mia Rose said, no working is a boo-boo. I couldn't have said it better myself, Mia Rose. Right, off you go. Over to you guys. Do not do by inspection. Do by written methods. Off you go. Okay, a lot of us are getting x is equal to -6. Let me have a look what I got. I also did get that earlier. I got x is -6 as well. I'm really proud of you guys. Thanks for staying with it. We're 22 minutes in. We've got to be careful of our time usage here. So I'm just looking at the next questions, seeing if we can get through all of them. I've got to do I think it's really important that I do the next one for you. All right, here we go. This is different. Okay, this is a different question style here. Find the value of x if 216 to the power of x is equal to a sixth. Now, the reason it's different is all the other ones, it was obvious what power to use, right? Because here, we were given 5 to the power of x, so use 5 as the base. Here, we were given a 3, that gave us a hint. Here, we were given a 2, that told us to use 2. Here, we were given a 2, that told us to use 2. This bad boy here, what makes this nasty is we've got 216 and we've got 1/6. So the base isn't obvious. So 216 to the power of x is equal to 1/6. This is where all our previous weeks and everything come good. You've just got to think to yourself, look, from the hint in the question, what do we think the right base is here? Although I see a sixth here, I also see 6. And I know that 6, I also know that 6 cubed is 216. So I'm thinking to myself, right, maybe if I choose 6 as the base, right? So on the right-hand side, remember 1/6 to the power of 1. The easier way of writing that is base 6 to the -1, right? That's really important. You've got to just know that 1/6 is the same as 6 to the power of -1. You've just got to, all our previous work, hopefully that's solidified in your mind. This has enabled me to get that 6 to be the base. Now on this side, I know that 6 cubed is 216. So I can replace 216 with 6 cubed, but do not forget that x, that to the power of x there. And tidying up the left-hand side, this is 6 to the power of 3 times x, or just 3x, is equal to 6 to the -1. Now, because I've got the base the same, they're both 6. If these two things are the same, 3x must equal -1. So I can state that 3x is equal to -1. Dividing both sides by 3 to get a single x, I get the answer x is equal to -1/3. Don't write -1/3 or things like that. Just write -1/3. Okay, it was more tricky. Reason it was tricky is it wasn't obvious what base to use, but that 6 there really helped me out. That 6 made me think, maybe make the base 6 on both sides. I did a bit of tweaking on the right side, tweaking on the left, got them both as a base of 6. X dropped out. Okay, time for you guys. Can you spot the base? Once you've got the base, everything becomes much easier. Over to you. Okay, let's reveal that answer. Some of you are doing a really, really good job. I got x is equal to negative a fifth as well. That one was much harder to guess, people. So hopefully it really does show you why writing your method and giving you that understanding is important, because you can't always guess them and you can't always just write the answer down straight away. Okay, we've got 2 more questions to do today, but I'm not going to do both of them. I'm going to do one of them. And I'm just going to do the next one, actually. I'll do the next one. It's a difficult one. It builds on everything we've done so far today. And maybe I'll do the next one the start of tomorrow. So here we go. Here's our next one. Find the value of x. Actually, no, you know what? Forget... No, I will do this one. I'll do this one. Find the value of x if 1 over 64 is 2 to the power of 2x add 3. So, this one actually should be a bit easier. We've got 1 over 64 is equal to 2 to the power of 2x plus 3. Actually, in hindsight, this one's a bit easier because we've got that base of 2 given to us already. So it's already given us a hint. How do we write 1 over 64 as a power of 2? Well, hopefully you know that's 1 over 2 to the power of 6. So we've got 2 to the 2x plus 3 is 1 over 2 to the power of 6. And just writing that as a straight index, that's 2 to the negative 6. So we've got 2 to the negative 6 is equal to 2 to the 2x add 3. Because we sorted out the issue and made the base the same, the exponents also need to be the same. So what we've got here is that 2x add 3 must equal negative 6. Be careful with your negatives here. Subtract 3 off both sides. You get that 2x is equal to negative 6. Subtract another 3 is negative 9. And divide both sides, therefore, by 2. And you get yourself x is equal to negative 9 over 2. Right, over to you guys. Reason I think we put this one in is just because you got negatives and you got fractions and you got all sorts of things on the go. Just wanted to make sure that basic arithmetic from GCSE is there, because at A level you just can't get these stuff wrong. You've got to be really good at fractions. You've got to be really good with negatives. You've got to be really good at solving linear equations, which this stuff is. So one of these for you guys today. Let's see if you can do it. Wow, some amazing answers coming through. I'm so proud of you guys. we're really developing on here. We're building on all our last 2 weeks of work. We're using manipulating powers, and we're solving equations. It's all starting to come together, and I'm really proud of you. Let me remind myself of what I got today. I got -6/5, just like you guys. Really, really proud of you. Now remember, there is an extra question here today. I'm not going to do it because actually my little one's about to wake up any second and I can't go over much further. So there is one here, but in the links that Mr. Arnold's going to post, I've written the fully worked answers for these. Moreover, I've also got a set of extra questions for you. Me, Mr. Arnold and Angela here at Hegarty Maths, we wrote a few extra questions for you guys to practice. So Mr. Arnold, if you could post those links to the guys, that means they can work through all of today. If it was going a bit too fast, rewatch this video, take your time, slow me down, hit that button where it says times 0.25 to make me sound like this. So you can really slow it down, and you can catch up and find your way back, even if there was a couple of things you struggled with today. Also, a little shout out, Mr. Arnold's going to post a link in there. Me and the team over at Hegarty Maths and Sparks, we've got a new system out called Numerize. It would be really good for if you've got any brothers or sisters who are wanting help lower down the school. It's something you can use at home outside school, helps you learn maths really well. Mr. Arnold will post that in there. He's posted it. It's Numerize. You can sign up for free. Give it to your younger brothers or sisters. Particularly good if any of them are transitioning from little school to big school. Stress out time. Help them out. It will really help them with their learning. It's a pilot at the moment. We haven't totally finished it, but every day the team are working on it and making it better and better. So share that with them. Really proud of you guys. Ella, what's my favourite part of maths? You know what, Ella? Calculus. And if this keeps going on and schools are in lockdown, I might start teaching you calculus. Comes up in A level. Love the topic. Really, really love it. It's one of my favourites. Remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share on to your friends to make sure as many people are getting it as possible, and post out to me on the YouTube. Already seen Libby done it. Love seeing the notes every day. Makes me so happy. So thank you so much. Thanks for the session today, guys. Really proud of you. Keep positive, keep safe. Little bit of maths every day is good for your morale. All right, everyone, I'm going to shoot now. The little one's going to wake up and start crying. It's going to embarrass me. So off I go. Bye-bye. See ya.